Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 2 of the 50-50. I'm Jagentek, and alongside me, I have my co-hosts MoneyGo, 1, 2, 3, and the Bop Pops, and we have a very, very exciting show for you guys today, the Draw and Worlds. Money, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling absolutely phenomenal. Didn't get too much sleep, but that's okay. I'll be even crazier today then.
I see. Bob, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We had the draft yesterday. That was pretty crazy. And yeah, so far everything going well. Rocket League community thriving right now. We chilling. We're doing good.
Indeed we are. You know what else is thriving, actually, Bob? You know what else is thriving, guys?
Ooh.
Is Ato's Discord. Let me tell you about his Discord, guys. Discord.gg/AtoRL. That's my favorite. That's my personal favorite thing happening in the Rocket League community. And apparently, all three of us are in it, guys. If you're not in there, this is a little plug for him. There you
Ooh.
go, Ato. I'll take my money when you're ready, but but anyways, we did have something happen over the weekend known as the Draw 4. Rizzo and James Bot's fourth iteration of their Draw event. It was NA. We saw a few interesting things happen. Money, what'd you like about the Draw? What'd you all see over there?
Well, first of all, the main thing I liked, dude, Rizzo and James Bond, they're such a good duo. They keep getting better, bro.
They do.
Every time they cast together, the vibes are up. It's just like the boys. They're just talking. They're just vibing. They're making jokes at each other. Like, dude, it's so funny, man. At one point, they started barking, bro. I don't even know what was going on. They
Barking.
started
I think
barking.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I only saw the clip, bro. I didn't
Yeah,
see that part
you're
live.
gonna have to give us
But
that one.
oh,
Maybe
dude,
we'll
it's
add
so
that for
funny, bro.
production. Money, if you find that, I'll throw in our clean production team. And show the clip. We'll see. We'll see if you find it.
Yeah, I can definitely find that.
Bob,
Yeah, Bob, what about you?
Honestly, the draw, I love the draw. Every single time it happens, I mean, it's an opportunity for like bubble teams to compete against like the top pros, and like it's just such a good opportunity. And seeing especially like usually we still see like the pro team usually win it at the end, but this time obviously we saw a different story with J Pow, Adam, and Oath winning it. So that was pretty cool. I think it's like really good for them getting some money, getting their names out there, and overall just like a great tournament.
indeed, I would agree. And you mentioned, usually we don't usually see the actual bubble teams, quote unquote, depending on what you want to call a bubble team. I guess that's apparently these days it's up for discussion. But yeah, I mean, this time we actually saw J Pow, Adam, and Oath actually winning the draw, beating players like Justin, AJ, and Com, who were, obviously I guess you would say pickup team would be the right word for that. They swept SSG. If you look at the results, I'd say that's a great result for them, showing that they can hang with a real team that's put together. Is this a type of team we want to see next season? What do you guys envision? Will we see a team, maybe this team next season?
Bro, I have no idea what's gonna happen in the off season. It's definitely gonna be crazy. I would love to see this team. Like, dude, after practicing for probably, I don't know, like maybe a day, 2 days, because Garrett G backed out. He was supposed to play instead
Mm-hmm.
of Com, but Com had to replace them last minute. And dude, the chemistry looked insane.
I did.
The,
I,
so yeah, dude, I'd love to see this team play.
I would agree. Bob, how do you feel about that? You want to see a team like this?
I mean, it could be fun. I think there's a lot of like different iterations that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Like this team originally for the draw was supposed to be Garrett, AJ, and Nolly, and
Yeah.
then Nolly couldn't play, so
Oh
then they got
no!
Justin.
Yeah, they were switched
Yeah, and
around.
then Garrett couldn't play, so they got Calm instead. So there's a lot of different iterations you could do. I think it's a fun team though. I think Justin AJ as a duo is like a really fun duo that could click together.
Mm-hmm.
I think Calm is a solid like third kind of player that like will demo makes like the other team's life a lot harder. I think it's a fun team. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't really see AJ leaving Optic just yet,
Yeah.
but you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance of that stuff. I would say that team probably isn't as likely as some others to form just due to some of the circumstances. Also, I do just want to, I need to shout out Calm real quick, by the way. He wasn't, usually we just see him as kind of the disruptor. He was actually making some plays on the field as well. He was doing a few, he was
Nice.
clipping out there this weekend, which I thought was a good, an element of his game that sometimes we don't see as often just because of his current teammates. So that was good to see. Speaking of current teammates, two of the teammates on the team that actually ended up winning are teammates as of right now. JPow and Doom, as well as, they joined forces with Oath for this draw event. Do you guys think, I think Bob touched on it a tiny bit already slightly, but do you think this is a good sign? Finally seeing the bubble team win one of these events that essentially I feel like was made for the bubble, right?
Yeah, Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is a good sign. I think obviously the crew roster with the Oath, Fefe, and I think that was Astro. Was it Astro or someone else? I forget.
Yeah,
But
Astro and then T-Karel.
yeah, yeah, TKRL as well. Yeah, so like that team, like obviously they disbanded. Now a crew dropped them, and now you got Oath with J-Pow Adam. I think this is a good result for them. A really good sign for the bubble scene. Of course, there weren't like as many top pro teams in this tournament, and
Yeah,
like the pro teams kind of took out each other. Like, I think Space Station beat G2, and then
they
Take
did.
3 beat Space Station. But it's still a good sign, I think. I mean, if they stick together throughout next season, I think this is a team that could like contend for like top tens, top eights, maybe a major. You never know.
Hmm.
It's pretty cool. I like to see it.
Yeah, it also is worth noting quickly for the viewers, anybody that doesn't know or didn't watch the event, by the way, it is worth noting G2 is actually not playing with Atomic. They had Torment subbing in for him when they lost to SSG for games 1 and 2. Then they could not bring it back after that. So that, I can't really fault G2 on that one as much. But yeah, definitely I think it is a good sign to see. And hopefully we see more bubble teams win more draws. I think we have a draw 5 coming up as well at some point in time in the future. I'm not exactly sure what date that is, but yeah, hopefully we see another bubble team maybe win that, and that would be a good sign for upcoming players and teams. Money, what are your thoughts on this one?
Um, yeah, dude, I don't know, cause they looked really good. They actually looked really well together. It was, I don't know, Oath was popping off. He shot like 66%.
Yeah.
Dude was absolutely destroying. Shot like 8 for 12. But I mean, they did like the only like team that they beat was a team that like Justin, AJ, Calm that wasn't really a team together.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
didn't really team together. So I think if they played like SSG or G2 in the final, it might have been different. But I mean, hey, that's on them for making it there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they definitely deserve the win though. They did still deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault them for taking the W, obviously.
Alex,
Depending on, who they play. Obviously, yeah, it could have been different, but I mean, that's not their problem. That's the team's the other team's problem. So, yeah, it's great to
exactly.
see. I am
Yep.
curious also. What do you guys think we'll see from these 3 players that just won the draw next season? You think we'll see them all on different teams with that little performance boosting them up a little bit, or will it be kind of just the same?
Yeah, I mean, like, it is a long off season, so you never know what's gonna happen. I think right now it would make most sense for them to team together. I'm seeing J Pow on Twitter. He's posting a lot of like inspirational quotes
Yeah.
every single day, so I think his mental is probably good, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adam, I mean, he's been a ball player for a long time. It's been many years. I think he made RLRS a while ago, maybe. And like he's just been like chilling there in the bubble scene for a while. Ota as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I gotta say, like, it was interesting watching Oath, right? Because, like, if you look at the
Yeah.
stats, like, you don't actually see Oath in the top 10, I think. But then, like, if you just watched how they played, like,
The
Oath
eye
was playing
test.
amazing. He was popping off like crazy. So, like, Oath could get some offers from other teams, some, like, other top teams. I think that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love for them to stick together.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I'd like to see what those guys could do. Um, hopefully they acquire Oath, I guess you could say, because I mean he's technically not on the team, right? Um, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see that money. I know you had. I know you were complaining to me about a certain thing. Would you like to tell the people about your certain thing?
Yeah. Okay. So I see this all the time on Twitter and sometimes Reddit. I'm not usually on Reddit, but sometimes it's on Reddit as well. When the team that's not expected to win beats a stronger team on paper, Everyone just discredits. Everyone discredits the win. Says the stronger team was trolling the whole time. It's like, bruh, can we get some appreciation for the underrated team? What? Why does this happen? Why does this always happen?
Well, go for it. Go for it. Tell the people. Tell the people.
I think honestly, most of it is just like these people on Twitter, these people on like Reddit, for example, like they don't really understand what's going on really like in the game, how these teams are playing. Like if they see an upset happen, they think like the main team is just trolling or something. The
Yeah.
reality is like a lot of these teams are just like really close in skill. And then like of course there's pros and then like there's bubble pros and like there's tiers. But like on their day, a bubble team could beat almost anyone. Like if they're absolutely peaking like stuff like that can happen. So like the fact that people always like say like oh like Take Three were trolling in the finals even though like they got swept by old heads. People say no they were just trolling. I think it's a bad take. I think it's a bad take. I think sometimes these bubble teams are just that strong and can beat these top teams.
Yeah, I would agree. Something I'd like to add on to that. I think you said that very well. People, they sometimes they don't even know what they're watching. If we're being real, but us, we're so smart. So obviously, all three of us know what we're watching, right?
Exactly,
But no,
exactly.
something else I would like to add to that is I feel like in my opinion, when I watch a team like, say this team we watched win the draw this weekend, it seemed like they were living up to their potential that they have. I feel like a lot of teams they don't play as well as they probably should actually be playing usually, because of certain reasons, internal issues, other issues. They just don't mesh well sometimes. But the players are that good. Um, but finally, I feel like we saw them live up to how good these players should be. I mean, you have three very solid players. J-Pout, very solid player. Oh, very solid player. Adam, very solid player. So, I hopefully we can see more of these teams be, I guess, consistent is what I really want to ask for. I would never say it's trolling, though. To touch on the main point, I personally, I never like considering something like that trolling because even if the other team, say Justin, AJ, and Calm weren't playing their best, it's wrong to discredit the other team, especially when they're playing as good as those three players were playing. If it was maybe more so of they don't look that great, both teams are making a billion mistakes, then that might be a little bit different. Just saying, and just say both teams weren't playing that great, right? And they snuck away with the win, I guess you could say. But this one, that was not the case of that, and that's what I like to see. And hopefully, going forward, we see more of those bubble teams step up and figure out how to do more playing to their potential.
Mm.
Money,
Alex.
would you like to give us your full take on this one? What do you think overall about it?
Honestly, both of you summed it up pretty well to the same like opinions that I have. I don't know, like especially when people cheer for the underdog and then the underdog wins and they're like, "Oh, it was luck." It's like, "Wait, what? What do you mean luck?" Like, what? Did you not witness greatness? We just watched the greatness in front of our eyes. Oath was styling on everyone. He felt so comfortable in
I
the
guess,
lobby.
I guess it's just luck that he's triple flip resetting on you. Unlucky, bro. Go next. Yeah, just it's a regame, bro.
Unlucky, unlucky.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
I mean, dude, that's basically it. Like, I
The
don't know.
ball,
I
the
just like.
ball bounced. Oh god, I can't read it. So lucky. Oh my.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to see some appreciation for all these teams, all these players, because
Yes.
like I don't know. At the end of the day, they're all in like the top 0.1% of the game, and
Mm,
a lot of talent there.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I
mm.
think unless you guys have anything else to say, that we touched mostly, I think, on the draw this weekend. We didn't have a ton of points, but
See,
we covered the important ones here. Is that good?
I'll be busy on.
Oh yeah, I got nothing else to add for this one.
All right, Bop, you have anything
Mm.
else?
I wouldn't say about that one. One thing I did kind of want to talk about though was like, so we just saw, I think it was a couple of days ago, Shopify just extended two-piece and parts contracts.
Yes.
So we saw that. I forget how long they extended it for. I think it was like either like
Two?
a season,
Wasn't it
couple of
like
years, something
two
like that.
years? I swear it was a
Yeah, I think
2 year.
2 years.
That's a long
Yeah,
time for
Actually,
a
yeah.
Rocket League contract.
okay, they're locking in.
Yeah, it was pretty cool seeing that. I think like an investment like that into a team is really good, and I think it's like really good for the Rocket League scene to show that
Yeah.
there are orgs that want to still invest in teams. So we've seen some stuff with like rumors about FaZe, maybe FaZe will leave
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League, stuff like that. So seeing like an org like that show that like, hey, we still want to be in Rocket League for the long term. I
Yeah.
think it's really good for our scene. And so, like we saw though, like Memory now is the coach for that team. And
Mm-hmm.
we got two-piece and part on the squad, contracts renewed. We don't know who the third is gonna be yet. And I think that's like really interesting thing. Like I think there's so many different players that you could choose from right now. And it's tough to say who their third's gonna be. So like you, Jagentek, like who do you think they should
Man.
sign as their third?
It's a tricky one, right? Before I say anything, by the way, can I just point out? I even like to see the fact that they're signing long-term contracts even more, considering the fact that it's not that like this team, like Shopify, they aren't the biggest org out there, right? Which I think that says a lot in itself. Being that they're so confident in Perth and Two Piece to sign a long form contract with those two. But touching on the third to round out the team, it's a tricky one because we still haven't seen who's gonna be on the market. But if we can take any guesses on who possibly might be on the market on teams that might disband after the season's over, they might pick up somebody. They'll have a lot of time to try out players. So we all could be completely off, but overall, I would like to see if I'm guessing, and this is obviously just a guess because we don't know the inner workings of pro teams or how that works exactly. But if I was guessing, I would assume that FaZe Clan probably break up, and I could see them pick up one of Sypical or Mist possibly. I think that Mist would back that team very well. And then along the lines of possibly people that are already out there, they could pick up Squishy, but if I'm being honest, I don't even know if Squishy's that big of an upgrade over Memory. Unless the chemistry's just off the charts, which I don't see it happening. So I think they got to pick up somebody off probably top six team to be really competitive, I would say, especially with those two. But overall, if I was guessing, I would say it's gonna be from one of the teams that's in the top that eventually ends up breaking up. And I'll just throw out Mist just because I think he'd play well on that team. What do you think, Money? What do you got with that one?
Oh, I've been thinking about a few players. Dude, I love the way how they played with Garrett. That team was
Yeah,
very strong.
yeah.
So I think if they ended up picking up Garrett, that team would have really good potential to keep going. And like we know how consistent Garrett is and like his work ethic, I think he'd be a great addition to that team. But besides Garrett, there's a young man who used to play with Two Piece in the past.
Oh
And
no.
he's currently on Gen G.
Oh
Give them
no.
Chronic.
Ooh.
Let them reunite.
Oh
We
my.
might see some
Ooh.
greatness.
There's no way. Wait, so I have to ask you. I
I
gotta
like
stop you
that.
right there. Do you think that Gen G will split up? I feel like they're like one of the teams in NA that have the least chance of splitting up.
Honestly, I agree, but I mean, hey, if
It's just
somehow
a
they flop
prediction.
at
I
Worlds, who
respect it.
knows?
I respect it.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there.
I respect it.
'Cause, yeah,
Also,
who
Garrett.
knows?
Garrett was a good shout. I don't know why though. I still feel like Garrett and Justin are gonna stick. I have a feeling deep in my heart. I feel like they're gonna go
Ooh.
through tryouts, and I think they're gonna find the golden child
Mm.
themselves. Someone. I have a feeling, but we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know. I think they're just sticking for the 2,000 days together. If they, I don't know when that's coming up,
They just want
but
the
they're the
record.
longest duo. Yeah, they just want that 2,000-day record. I think they're
Mm.
done. I think they're ready to mix it
All
up.
right,
Dude, I don't
respect.
know. I don't know.
Mm.
I could see it. I could
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I think Garrett is a good shout. I was thinking about Chronic as well. I think Chronic is a really good shout. If like Genji do decide to break up, I think Chronic and Two Piece already have that chemistry. And then like Two Piece and Parts chemistry, I think Parts and
Mm,
Chronic could create their own chemistry. I think that could be a fun team. I think like for me, like the number one prospect in my head would be Justin. I
mm-hmm.
feel like Justin,
Yeah.
especially like recently on Energy, he's been playing a more of a third man kind of role. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he would basically be able to play what Memory did, but just like a lot better, a more mechanical third man role, similar to like a Daniel, similar to like a Vatira a little bit. I think Justin would fit in really well with them, so I would love to see that. And like I guess one more thing I can like say is that I don't know if this is an leak. I don't know if this is a leak. It's not really a leak, but like I asked Part the other day, like, "Oh, do you have a third solidified yet?" And he
Mm-hmm.
said no, they're still trying out. A lot of people still trying to figure out who they're gonna pick. So they still have a lot of time,
Yeah.
probably a long off season. So I think they're gonna try out many people. We might see some tournaments they play in with different players. I think like at the end of the day, whoever they pick, I think this is a top team you got to look for next season.
It
And
should be.
I think this is a major contending team for sure.
I like that. I like the Justin shot. Also, I like that. I wouldn't call it a leak, but I like that. I think realistically, it wouldn't be very smart to just lock someone in, considering we have like it could end
Yeah,
up being
facts.
6 months until they play. So a lot could change in 6 months, especially in this game.
Facts.
But yeah,
And so
that's
more
a.
teams might break up.
I mean, you can. I think. Well, you say might. We know what's happening.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
about to
probably.
be.
Yeah, yeah,
It's about to be
yeah.
Oppenheimer out here because NA's about to explode. But speaking of exploding, this is actually no horrible transition. Skip next. Who do we think the longest lasting pro will be? I wrote this down. I want to say it was Danger Taco. He tweeted it on Twitter. It might have not been him, but I'm pretty sure it was. He said something about hopefully we see more older pros, or I'm not exactly sure what the tweet was, but I made my own question out of it because I was curious what we thought. Basically, who do we think the longest lasting pro will be? Kind of how will they end up being later into their careers? Because I feel like nowadays it's like basically you hit 20, I'd say 24, it's pretty much like you're done, right? I feel like that's just like the cutoff almost at this point in Rocket League. But I don't think that's gonna be the case. As these pros, especially like Zen, he's only getting older, obviously. So, and I'm sure as long as he has passion for the game, he'll get older and older and still have his skill as long as he wants to play. Same with a lot of these even like 20-year-olds. Monkey Moon, I'm pretty sure he's 20 or 21. So he's getting up there too. A few more years, he'll be at the stopping point. But he definitely has the talent to carry on. So what do we think about that? I'm curious.
Wait, let me think about it. Bob, do you got anything?
Yeah, one thing I'll say is that like Rocket League is so unique where like the average player base is so young for the
Mm-hmm.
pros. Like it's like literally the average is probably like 18 or 19. Whereas in other esports, I think the average is closer to like
I
25,
think
26,
so.
27, even older. So like the fact that Rocket League has like such young pros is really interesting, but I do think it will change over time. I think there's certain pros like there's obvious names like Garrett G, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around since season one, since the first qualifier season one. He's the longest lasting pro so far. Obviously you got JNaps as well. JNaps is a little bit of one that's like a little more like because like he might retire
I
soon.
think
There's been
he's
rumors
gonna,
about that.
sadly.
Yes, so that would be sad to see. For me, I feel like picks that are like a little bit more out there are like I think AJ could be a pro that
Mm-hmm.
lasts for a long time. And one of the reasons why I would say him because he's like what 2021 something like that.
Maybe
And
19, something like that.
he's yeah, something like that. And he's still like really good mechanically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of pros when they get older kind of don't lose their mechanics, but they fall behind a little bit to like the current meta. Whereas AJ is still like up there with some of the best mechanically. So I feel like he'll last a while.
Yeah. Okay, I have to ask you a question actually, Bob. So you say, the pros, their mechanics, you say somewhat fall behind, I guess you could say. Why do you think that is?
Mm.
Because I want to talk on this. We won't go crazy into it because I think you could have a whole crazy conversation about that. But
Mm.
give me a quick summary on why you think that might be.
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Like for one, I feel like if you think about like 13, 14, 15-year-olds right now, like especially ones that haven't made RLCS, haven't played in RLCS before,
Mm-hmm.
like the main thing that they could just do right now is like play twos. So I feel like they just play twos like all day, right?
Right.
And twos is where like you grind your mechanics a lot and like you actually like learn how to like be more mechanical, stuff like that. You just go for flip reset plays every single time, especially in NA. Whereas like these older pros, I feel like some of them they still grind twos and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a little bit more boring to them. I think a lot of older pros prefer just like scrimming, maybe six man's a little bit more, stuff like that. So they don't necessarily grind as much mechanically. Whereas
Right.
younger pros, I feel like they just have fun with it. They like scoring cool shots, and like that's what they like to do.
Yeah, facts. And adding on to what Bob said, like the game just evolves so fast. Like everything's changing all the time. And also, what was I gonna say? Right before you said that. Oh yeah, like how they play twos and stuff. There's also like YouTube. Like you can look on YouTube for any mechanic you want to learn now. So starting from lower ranks is a lot easier to get out of because you can literally just see all these tutorials, all these resources that a lot of pros didn't have, back when the scene started.
Right.
And I had one more point, but I think I lost it. Yeah, my train of thought is gone. It's
I'll
all
give
over the
you.
place.
I'll shoot you a question, Money. Do you think as pros get older, do you think burnout of the game might attribute to
Ooh.
how good they actually are and how I guess open to still playing the game they are. Or maybe do they get bored and just don't feel like grinding anymore?
Yeah, I'd say like I'd put that in one of like the top factors, definitely getting either burnout or getting
Yeah.
bored of the game or something along those lines because like at the end of the day, Rocket League, even though it's changing and stuff, the core mechanics and like the core gameplay doesn't really change at all. Like it's always a 5 minute game, it's always the
Yep.
same stuff. So I think in that sense, yeah, burnout is definitely gonna catch up on a lot of these players.
Right, and I mean, it's been I mean, you touched on the core mechanics. They've been the same since the launch of the
Yeah.
game. And I mean, technically, since the launch of SARP, even, I guess, right? It's the same premise, at least. So, yeah, I mean, if you've been playing for a long time, anything, I feel like doing anything for, what, 8 years, 9 years, even? That can just, like, it can get crazy unless you're an absolute, like, true competitor. That's all you want to do. Like, for example, Garrett. Like Garrett, I think, I think he's just a competitor. Like I think he just wants to play the game, and he wants to improve. It seems still, which I think shows in his gameplay too, compared to like some of these older pros. I'm not trying to call out somebody like Turbo or K-Dot, but their mechanics have far fallen off compared to somebody like JNaps or Garrett, who I feel like almost have more hunger these days, which is kind of weird to say when you're talking about 3 and 4 time world champs, but I think they're still hungry compared to the others. But I do think we will see probably JNaps retire soon, if not this year, next year. But yeah, no. Overall, so transitioning back to this question, the very first one, who do you guys think will be like the first old pro, like older pro that really is like established still? Like say
Like how
somebody
old?
like say somebody into like their 26 to like 30 range almost even. Do you see any of these
Yeah.
players keeping it up for that long?
Hmm. Yeah, I think one player I think I can confidently say I think will be a pro for like a really, really long time is Alpha,
Ah, that's a good one.
especially if he has Zen as a teammate for like many years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even if they have Redozen or someone else long term, like I feel like they would be good together for a while. Like Alpha Zen, like like Alpha's like is Alpha 21, 20, something like
I
that?
think he's
Let me just
20,
check.
22, 20. He's between 20 and
Is he
22.
22? Let me
He's
see. He
between
is
that.
20 right now.
20.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's 20 right now. So I feel like especially if he's teams with Zen for like many years, I
Mm-hmm.
think they would be fine for a while. I think he could be a pro till he's like 28,
Mm-hmm.
older than that maybe even.
I
So
could see that. As long as as long as he's not playing FIFA, he should be good.
What?
What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Dude, I'm trying to think of like no, because I want to say someone younger. Like I want to say like a Daniel or even like a Zen. I want to say like they'll play the game for a long time. But dude, I don't know. Like who knows, bro? Like in 5 years from
Yeah.
now, who knows what Daniel's gonna look like? Who knows what Zen's gonna look like? Obviously, they'll still be cracked at the game if they're still like playing it as consistently and stuff. But they might get bored. They might get burnout. Who knows? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could see it. Also, I think something else we might need to factor in too is what's Rocket League 2 gonna look like? Because if they drop a Rocket League 2,
Ooh.
this genuinely could shake up a lot of things depending
Yo.
on what exactly happens. I feel like if the game has a few like different mechanics or anything like that, like some of these pros might just be I don't feel like relearning some of these things, no
mm,
matter how good they are. So I could see it, but. Naming some of the pros that I could see long lasting at least, I could see the entire of old Moist roster, Joyo, Rise, and Vatira. I think all are good
mm,
shouts for that. I think they all enjoy the game. I think they all are very, competitive players, and just want to stay at the top for as long as possible. So I could see all three of those. Also, I realized Joyo was 18 the other day, and I couldn't believe that. By the way, can I just put that out there? I thought he was like still 16. I actually had no clue. But yeah, no, those
mm,
three players, and then actually somebody in chat said it, App Jack. I think Jack has a really, really good chance at being on top for a long time. But yeah,
mm.
that's a good breakdown of that, I think. Anyone else have anyone else they want to throw in there at least, or any other topics to touch on that?
Also throw in Kami. I feel like Kami, he's 22 right now. Especially if he stays in APAC, I feel like he could
That's a
just
good one.
dominate APAC for like years.
Okay.
Him
That is
and
true.
like Realize as well, maybe Virtuoso. If they all stay in APAC, they could probably just be at the top for many years. But,
Yeah, I think actually, yeah, you're probably right about that. I actually wasn't thinking about these other regions that much, but yeah, you're probably
mm,
spot on. Especially somebody like even like Super Lucky or somebody like that, I could see on top for a
mm,
very long time as long as they're not. I think it really comes down to if they get bored of the game. Like I think that really is what it is. If
mm,
you're still
Yeah.
competitive, you're still gonna want to play the game. If you're just tired of the game, you're done, right? It comes down to how competitive these players are. And well, that's why I,
mm.
named off some of the players that I feel like are the most competitive and also the most skilled at the same time. Um, but yeah, that is that. Something else that was pretty competitive. It's Worlds. Worlds is pretty competitive this year, and it's pretty exciting. We saw the draft just yesterday on First Touch. That podcast. We can't talk about it too much, but no, we saw the draft on First Touch yesterday. Most of the picks, I would say, weren't too shocking, realistically. But in my opinion, I actually think they probably should have been more shocking than other people thought. I think I have a different opinion on this than other people, but I want to know what you guys have to say about it first. So, we had the draft. All the picks, aside from probably Pioneers picking Twisted Minds, were pretty much what people thought were going to be the picks for World's Wildcard, right? And my question to you guys is, with all those teams, the first teams taking the weaker teams, quote unquote, would it have been better to actually pick a harder round one matchup? What do you guys think of that? I'm curious.
Right off the bat, bro, I'm saying no. I'm saying for round one, I think you want
No,
to get in
no,
there,
no, no, no.
get that quick 3-0 stomp, establish yourself at the top of the what do they call it? The top of the reseeding, so you get a potentially easier second round. Dude, I think you
Mhm.
gotta go for the easiest one. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I feel like just take the easiest match you can get like the sweep. I think it's best of sevens, right? So a quick
Yeah.
4-0 sweep right
Oh, I
there.
forgot. Best of seven.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
just
hype.
feel like yeah, I feel like there's not much of a point to play a harder team. Like, sure, you get a little more of a warm up, maybe, but like you're scrimming beforehand anyway. You're scrimming in between the matches. Like, I feel like getting a harder opponent just makes your life harder, and then you might lose the series, and then like you might not make main event, you know? So I feel like the easiest match right there, like Complexity, G2 Moist, they all got the SSA APAC teams. I feel like it was the right play. It was the right choice.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I disagree. It is not the smart choice. This is not how you do it. From a competitor's standpoint, I hate how they do these picking. It is not smart. The first team picking should choose the best team. You should be able to beat every team. If you're not confident that you can beat every team, what are you doing? You should be picking the hardest matchup, and then if you lose the hardest matchup, at least it was a good warm up. It was good to see. And then even if you lose that, it doesn't really matter because then you guys said you actually had a easier matchup if you won your first match, which is actually not true. You would play the team that is also winning. So if you lose your first round matchup, you actually then play the easier team because you're gonna play an 0-1 team. So overall, it actually makes sense. And also, we don't have a direct on our show yet. We'll get one eventually. But also, I'm pretty positive that the stats actually back that if you lose the first round matchup, it actually benefits you a lot of times due to the fact that you're playing a worse team in the second round, and then you're warmed up, you got a better team, you can stamp over them, and then you roll the bracket. I like the competitive integrity. I don't like a team like Complexity, one of the best teams at Worlds. I don't like them picking a team that they can just stomp because that doesn't show anything. It doesn't show anything. You're sleeping.
Dude, they don't need to show anything yet. It's
They
round one,
do.
bro.
They
Let
do
them
need to
get the
show
dub.
something. No.
They can show something in round two, man. Okay, listen.
They're gonna lose in
No,
round
no,
two.
no.
They're not warmed up.
Would you rather be up 1-0 or be down 1-0? Just to start off, you get a free win or you get a free
Mhm.
loss. Everyone's gonna choose to start 1-0. Why would you
I'm not.
not
I'm
want
not
to start
taking. No.
1-0?
I'd rather start 0-1.
Nah,
I
bro.
want to
Okay,
play
so
because you
you said
should
that
be.
you said you
You
get a harder
should
matchup.
be. No, yes, you should be confident though. That's my whole point. You should be confident in the fact that you can beat any one of those teams. So why are you choosing the
Yeah.
easier matchup? Why? What's the point?
Because why do you want extra stress? Dude,
You should have extra
Batira
stress.
Rise Joyo.
You're
they
gonna
were
be
still
playing.
winning.
If you want to
Batira
win the
didn't
whole
want
event,
Game 7.
you gotta win the
He
whole
didn't want
event.
Game 7.
You gotta win the whole event. You gotta take every game, and it doesn't matter who you play. It does not matter. So you should pick the harder team and get the better team originally. You gotta do it. Money, you gotta do it.
Okay, so what if you're having an off day though?
That's your own fault, bro. That's your
Yeah,
own
so just
fault.
get an easier matchup so you win no matter what.
No.
Just
well,
start
if you're
off with
having
a
an
win.
off day, I think it's proven actually. I think actually.
No,
you
there's
can
no
go
shot.
back.
I need
No,
to see the
listen,
stats.
Listen though. So if you look back, this isn't even in a Swiss bracket. But if you look back and you see these other teams, like for example, Vitality, in this very last major, we saw them play probably the easiest team there on paper, right? And they actually struggled, which they should not be struggling with that. So why
So
would
if
you
that was a
not
harder team, they lose. If
Yeah,
it's a harder team,
exactly.
they lose.
Exactly, that's good though, because that's a wake-up call. You should have a wake-up call. You shouldn't be losing to a bad team. You shouldn't even be losing a game to a bad team. Bob, what do you think?
Wait. Okay, two things I'll say. For one, last wild card, 7 out of the 8 teams that won their first match did make it to the main event.
That's because
Only
they're the
one
better
team
team,
didn't.
though. That's because they're the better team. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in the overall thing. You should pick the better team.
I mean, maybe. But then second thing I'll say is that, so let's say you got an easy team, right? You win that 4-0 compared to if you get a hard team and you win that 4-3. If you win 4-3, you're going to get a harder match in the second round compared to the 4-0. If you get a 4-0, you get an easier match in the second one. That's how the seeding works.
Give me an
because
example.
You get to
Give me an example from Last Worlds.
Last Worlds, let's see. Semper 4-0'd Secret in their first match, and then they got Pioneers second round. Because Pioneers, their first match was also a 4-0. So yeah, so they got an easier match in Pioneers, whereas they could have played like a version 1. They could have played a Dignitas. They could have played some other tough teams. But instead they got Pioneers, and then they ended up 3-0ing.
See, I wouldn't take that. That's not what I want, though. If you're one of those teams, just take it. I don't like the easy way out. That's just the easy way out. You should be playing the best teams. If you can't beat the best teams, why are you there? You're just gonna lose eventually, anyways.
Yeah, but then you can lose eventually. It's also a business. You're also making money. The further you go, the more money you get.
I'll give you that. From a competitive standpoint, I'll give you that. I'll take the money, but from the games themselves, I don't know. I disagree. I think you should pick the harder team. The harder team. Dude. Show your stuff in game 1 and just run the bracket from there. Prove you're the strongest team in that bracket. It's a wild card for a reason.
Okay, as a viewer, I agree with that because it would give us more content. But like as a player, dude, you definitely want to be 2-0. You want to be 2-0 up. Like you win Series 1, you win Series 2, you're in a great spot. If you lose Series 1, win Series 2, bro, 1-1? If you look at some 1-1 matchups, bro, those get scary, bro.
I mean, as Rocket League progresses, though, you're gonna see insanely difficult matchups anyway. So you may as well just like prepare now, because in like say 2 years from now in Worlds, every single one of these matchups is gonna be just as terrifying. Right now, you might have a few weak teams, obviously, because there's developing regions. But as Rocket League gets harder, you're gonna want to play the harder teams.
I agree, it'll get harder. But Complexity Gaming, they're here. They're right now. They want this dub. They're here now. The future doesn't matter right now.
See, that doesn't matter, though. They want the dub. They can beat any one of these teams. They're better than every single team in that wild card. By far. It doesn't matter. They go at 3-0, and they're going to show you. That doesn't matter who they play, but they should have still picked a better team. They should have played Falcons round 1.
Nah, bro, nah. There's no shot. Dude, if they played Falcons, I still think they win, but dude, that's a tough series
then they're
right
warmed
there.
up.
That's a tough...
Yeah,
that's not a warm-up, that's a full battle.
Exactly. You gotta prepare for war. You're playing 10 days of Rocket League. You gotta be ready. Money.
Bro, I cannot agree with this. I can't do it, bro.
You gotta agree with it. I'm spitting facts.
I can't.
They just don't want to hear it yet. Jag is never wrong. Chatter, you're right. You're spitting facts.
Oh gosh, she's on his T-Bates arc. Oh gosh.
Nah, this is a Jagentek arc, little bro. Oh my. Nah, they don't know about competition yet. They'll know in a few years. You guys will be agree with me. You'll see.
Wait, so do you think Pioneers made the right choice in picking Twisted Minds instead of like a G1 or a Secret then?
Yeah, the answer to that's actually a tricky one. Because I think the answer to that for me is a yes and a no. I think Twisted Minds was a horrid matchup for who they could have picked. I think they should have picked like an Oxygen. But
Mm.
I like that they picked a harder team. I definitely I like it. I like it. I like it for them. And if they come out on top, I think it was a fantastic matchup. If they don't come out on top, I think it was still a fantastic matchup because they got a nice warm up. They're ready to. They played a good team. In fact, me and Bop, top 8 team according to me and Bop. So we said that last week. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But all I'm saying, I like the competition. I want to see the competition.
I respect that. I respect that.
Bop, you're supposed to say it. No, you're so dumb and wrong. How could you say such a crazy take? Money said that for you. It's okay. But
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Pioneers vs Twisted Minds is the matchup I want to see the most for this first round. It's got to be up there. It's one of the ones I want to see the most. But also, if Pioneers lose that, I don't think they're making it out, bro. It's chalked. If they lose
Oh
that
yeah.
series, it's chalked, bro. They're not making it out.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't. Well, okay. First of all, let's be real. Pioneers are just not making it out in general. They're just not a better team. but overall, I think it's good. Like it's good, especially when you're not probably making it out. It's good because at least you're playing a team to get to the level of the best teams there. I would say. Whereas if you play a French class, well, Valiant, I guess. If you play a Valiant, I don't think you go from a Valiant to playing, say, I don't know, say like an Oxygen Esports. You're gonna be. It's not even comparable. It's not even comparable. So I'd rather play a harder team, but I don't know. I'm not saying that it's not always a guaranteed loss either. Like the upsets can happen. I'd say that is an upset if Pioneers do beat Twisted Minds, but I mean, they're confident that they can beat them. If they're picking them, they're confident they can beat them. So
Yeah, they beat them last time, I think, right? They beat Senzo's team.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it was 2/3 of the rosters, and both of them were the same last time, and they 4-1 them, I think. So,
Okay.
I will say though, I think Twisted Minds have improved much more than Pioneers. In
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
actually, Pioneers have probably went down, and Twisted Minds has
Oh,
ascended. So
gosh.
it might be a bloodbath,
Yeah.
but overall, I'm still going with it. I back my point, and I believe that one.
mm.
It is what it is, though. Also, actually, something else before we move along to other worlds things. Or something else that I do want to say is it seems, actually, something that is interesting is the teams, when you watch, say, I don't even know, any sport really, maybe not every sport, but a lot of sports that I watch, football, American football, basketball, a lot of times when you get into playoffs, a lot of the teams that play the worst teams end up having the worst brackets. Like it's how it works. It's just horrible. Like sometimes the teams they can't warm up against worse teams for some reason, whatever it is. They actually take it to them. They might end up winning. The better team usually ends up winning. But I mean, for example, the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat should not have been beating the the Milwaukee Bucks, but they did it anyways, and there's always a chance. So they gave them the competition. I like the competition. And I'm like Bates. I compare basketball to Rocket League a lot. I think there's a lot of similarities, but anyways, MoneyGo. It's time to talk about other Worlds things. It's time to talk about Worlds itself. Well, something that's not at Worlds actually. Version 1.
Oh, yikes.
Version 1 misses Worlds. I'm curious. What do you guys think? Version 1, if they had made it, do you think they would have looked like? Well, what have you seen? Do you think they're better than some of the teams at this event?
On paper, yes, I think they're better, but would they win some of these series? I'm not sure. Like if they made Worlds, they would have been qualified into the wild card. I probably would have had them making it out of the wild card. But I don't know, the consistency just hasn't been there from this team. We saw them struggle against Koi and end up losing that series. And then they had some other tough series, like I think it was Fury and Complexity were the other two teams that they lost to, which are tough teams. But like you could just tell, like in some of the series, they just didn't look like even the stronger team. So
Where do you think they'd come out of wild card? I'm curious. So, at what place? You think they'd be 3-1? I'd pick them at 3-1 if I was predicting.
I'd probably pick them 3-1 as well. I think they lose. I think they win their first 2 rounds and then probably lose round 3 to another strong team.
That's fair.
And then win round 4.
I think they lose to like a G2 or something. Then they probably regain and they make it out. Bob, what do you think?
Okay. To be honest,
Oh
If
god.
V1 were here, I think at their peak, they could win Worlds at
Yeah,
their peak.
yeah, I'd agree.
At their peak. And I think if they did make Worlds, I feel like they would show up, and I would probably
Mm-hmm.
like have them making the finals against like Vitality or something like that.
Oh,
I feel like if they made it there, I think they would do really good. I think Beast Mode Daniel would click on LAN. I think we'll see them at Gamers 8, so I think they'll click at Gamers
true.
8.
True,
But
I
I
forgot
think,
about that.
I did too.
yeah, if they make Worlds, like if they made Worlds, I think they would do really good. I think it would like I would have predicted the V1 Vitality final for sure. I think it would have been fun.
Yeah. That is well. That, okay, that's a bit of a that's a bit of a crazy prediction if we're being honest. I feel like, but I respect it. I mean, yeah, I think you're right at their peak. But realistically, how many times have we seen this team at their peak? One event,
One time,
and
yeah.
then they
1.5.
couldn't figure it out. Yeah, 1.5. True. Then they couldn't figure it out. So I don't know. I don't know if they would have. They would have made it out of wild card, but I think they probably lose to somebody like even man, I don't even know. They could have lost, bro. They could have lost to a power, and I wouldn't have even been surprised. Like I actually wouldn't.
Nah.
I wouldn't have been surprised by it because that team, their ups and downs are insane. They could
That's
win
true.
Worlds like Bop
Okay, that's
said,
true.
and they could just because they're a weird team. But overall, I'd probably say they realistically a recent or a Valiant prediction for them probably would have been like probably a top 8 at Worlds. I would have predicted if they were here, but I don't know. They're just too inconsistent right now. If they figure it out and possibly get rid of Calm in the offseason, I think we'll be looking at a really scary team. But I don't know. I think that'd be good for Calm too. I just want to say that as well. I think Calm needs a change from that team. I think he needs a little bit of a different role even.
Mhm.
But overall, wait, buddy, did you say? Did you say where you think you would have saw him place? You said that you see him as a wild card, but where would you place them overall?
Yeah, depending on how the groups and stuff looked, I couldn't see them getting past top 4. I'd say top 4 maybe the highest. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm curious, actually. Here's a question. Do you guys think that V1 would beat Rule 1? Do you what team do you think is better between those two? Because Rule 1 is an interesting team to me to compare.
In that sense, I think that V1 wins the matchup. I don't know if they're the stronger team. I think they win the matchup mainly because we saw how Rule 1 played against like faster and like stronger teams. They ended up on the back foot a lot on defense. And I think eventually Calm's just gonna overwhelm them on like searching for demos, or at least gonna get someone out of place. And then Daniel and Beast Mode, both of their like shooting is insane. They're scoring their offensive abilities. I think eventually they'll overwhelm them in that sense.
That's valid. That's valid. That's what I was looking for. Good answer. Good answer. Let's see. Another team that starts with a 1 at Worlds. G1. They're at Worlds. I don't know. They're just there, I guess.
They are there.
Talk to me about them. Talk to me about G1. Tell me about them. Tell me about G1.
Ooh, G1's a very interesting one because I don't even know if it's rumors or if it was confirmed that like they were already trying out thirds like
I
before
think it was
Worlds
confirmed.
happened. Yeah, because like they didn't actually know that they were gonna be able to like make Worlds, and it was a very small chance
Yeah.
because the EU got 7 spots. So I mean, I don't expect much from G1 at all. I will say Atomic did tweet yesterday, and he was pretty mad, saying that
Yo,
people are disrespecting him.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say I did predictions yesterday on stream with
Yeah.
my chat, and my chat decided that Elevate would beat G1.
What?
So
The chat's wild.
I think people are disrespecting them a little bit, but reality is like if they're already trying out a new third and like they kicked Mark earlier in the season, like I don't know, I don't expect much from them at all.
Yeah, I think G1 they're kind of an interesting case study because they do have some time to right the ship at least for Worlds. I feel like to like actually get on the same page just to play. It's not like they're fully doomed in terms of like just that in my opinion. Like most people are saying, I feel like even though even though I'm pretty sure that wasn't even a rumor, I think they were trying out other players. I think just the fact, and we see it a lot actually, like when teams don't have a lot to play for, or when you're just like written off, kinda, teams actually perform pretty decent. I feel like look at what was it, Semper last Worlds, I want to say. I feel like this might be the same story as that. They might make it out of wild card. It really depends on what their synergy's looking like after the thing. But Atomic, I want to touch on Atomic. Atomic, he's still one of the best players in the world. So that's crazy disrespect. But I don't know if his teammates are that great. So well, we'll see what happens right there. But overall, G1 at Worlds, I think they probably are doomed. If we're being honest, I think they're probably done for. But they might make it out of wild card. It's probably 3-2 if they do. Money, what do you think?
Yeah.
Also, one other thing, really quick. I'm just really sad that it's not Optic or Furia there instead of G1. I think they're way better teams, but that's set aside. Money, go for it.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about G1 here. If they made it out a wild card, I wouldn't be completely surprised, but I'm also not going to be the one to pick them to like make it out. So I think it's up to them to prove everyone wrong, because I'm not believing in them.
I think they got a good round one draw, actually, though. I will say that. I think Crew picking them there, I think that was actually a pretty bad pick, realistically. Because, you know, I feel like Crew should have picked... I don't know. That's a weird one, but it is what it is. It's a strange one. I could see, definitely, though, I could see G1 beating Crew, especially with how Crew looked at the previous major. Even though they had a pretty tough run, but it was...
Yeah. Crew didn't want to pick them. They said during the interview that they wanted to go with Secret, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't
Because of the
allowed
rules.
to,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think Secret's a better team than G1, so I like that. You know, it's the South American Brotherhood though, so that's probably why. Overall though, G1, and unless anybody else has something to say about G1, we can move along to the other EU wildcard team.
Yeah, I've got nothing else.
All right.
Yeah, me neither.
Oxygen, who apparently are also trying out things. I think I heard that might be a rumor. But I did hear that they're doing something out there. I saw it a while ago.
Gosh.
So what do we think about Oxygen too? We touched on G1. Now Oxygen, I think they might be a stronger team, except they're in the same position. I think as G1 kind of.
Yeah, Bop, you have anything?
Yeah, for me, I think Oxygen have more potential than G1. I mean, yeah, obviously you got Jorius and Archie, both of those players like at their peak are some of the best in EU, some of the best in the world. Recently, I think Jorius hasn't looked as strong. Archie's been like decent still. Ixo as like third has been like okay. I think like their peak again is really high. I don't think they'll reach it this Worlds. Like I think they might make it out of wild card like 3-2-ish. But we'll see. Like Jorius is good in Swiss. Usually the Swiss merchant, he plays well there. And then Archie, like I said, like he is like mechanically, just like individually such a skilled player that they could make it like, I think their peak is like a top 8, but realistically, like I think they might make it out of the wild card and then like probably not win any matches there in the main event.
Money, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, honestly, I agree. I don't even know if they're actually. Yeah, I think they might make it out a wild card, but overall. Yeah, I don't have many expectations for Oxygen as well. I'm looking through some of their matches they had in the spring. They lost to a lot of teams that they should have beaten, like Luna Galaxy. They even lost to G1 here, getting absolutely smoked 3-0, scoring 1 goal, 2 goals in this whole series.
That was not pretty.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think if they get their hours up, if they're gaming, if they're on the grind, they've got a chance at making some moves during the tournament, but overall, I agree with Bop. I barely have them making it out of wild card.
Yeah, I'd probably reiterate what you guys just said. It's a tricky one. Do they even make it out of wild card? That's the real question I'm looking at here. Because you got Complexity are better. I think G2, Moist, maybe even Crew, Space Station I think are better. Falcons are better. Twisted Minds are better. And then it's probably a throw up right there. They're probably, if they do make it out, I have a feeling they're either going to be peaking, they're going to be playing very well, which will be surprising to me, or they just squeak it out in the game. What would it be? The fifth series, I guess it would be fifth series, 3-2. But honestly, I think there's an issue with Oxygen that I think needs to be addressed that people don't talk about enough. Archie and Jorius. They both are issues. On any team they go to, I swear, they've been issues for a minute. We haven't talked about it enough, and I think the results back it. I think a lot of people think that Archie, I think a lot of people probably have him top 15 player in the world a lot of times, and I don't think he's up there. I have a lot of respect for him. I think individually he's talented, But when you put him on a threes team, I don't know if he's there. I don't know if he's there, if we're being honest, because he doesn't have the results to back it ever, I feel like. And he plays decent on land sometimes. Jory is, I think he's he's got the Johnny Boy overhype on him a little bit. But I think Jory is also, they're very solid players, but I don't know if they're the player, if that makes sense. I don't think they're up there with some of those players that, I don't even know, like a Raise Bull, for example. I'll just throw them out there. But yeah, I don't think they're up there with that type of player. Or say, for example, even like an Appjack, I don't think they're with. So I think there's a few options with Oxygen. But actually, all I'm going to say is I really hope we see Ixo be the only player that sticks on that team for next season. Because I think Ixo is very good, and I think he has some potential. But
Really? Okay. So you think he has the most potential like on that team?
not the
Out of, like,
most.
all three players?
I don't think he does, but I think he's the best threes fit for any team. I think the other two need specific players to work around in order for them to be good. Whereas Ixo, I think he can work with anyone, as long as his teammates are uplifting him and supporting him. Same with, he was on Quadrant, and I thought they played very well. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But Oxygen, I have not a ton of hope for him in Worlds, but I could see a possible potential if Jorias and Archie would possibly live up to their potential that I know they have, but they have not shown. But Bob, you want to take us away to the gods of the galaxy as of right now?
Okay. So we saw this whole split. We saw the domination out of this one team, out of this new rookie, Zen Vitality. What a team it's been. What a team. What a team. And so, of course, they won the major, but it wasn't, in a dominant way. They obviously lost to BDS earlier. They lost a game to Elevate, almost lost to Complexity. So they didn't dominate the way that some people expected. But the last day, Championship Sunday, they came back. They won it all, beat BDS in 2 series in the finals, beat KC down there, beat Rule 1, beat Gen G. They look good. They look good. And we got to ask, what is it going to take for Vitality to continue that either, domination or just continue their winning abilities into Worlds? So, Money, what do you think? What does Vitality have to do to make sure, teams don't necessarily figure them out and so, they could stay at the top and win Worlds?
I think for Vitality, it's got to be just keeping that Sunday consistency. The way that they played on Sunday was, I don't know, dude. It was out of this world. It was greatness. There's no other way to say it. It was a spectacular Rocket League, and if they can figure out a way to at least get close to that for most of these days, I don't really see anyone beating them. But it's all about the consistency for me. What about you, Jagentek?
Yeah, I agree. I think as long as you don't have Radosin own goaling and Squishy saving his own teammates, it should be a pretty nice Worlds for him. They might not win it. I think this could be the event that does take them down, just due to
they might not win. Who's beating them?
Who's beating them? There's definitely teams that can beat them here. They might not win. I say might with a slight. It's probably I give it a 70-30. They probably win. They got a 70% chance.
That's a big percentage.
But overall, they're definitely the favorites. Don't get me wrong. They're easily the favorites at this event. If they're not, you actually just don't know Rocket League. At that point, I've been a doubter, I've been a hater. But my new favorite NA team, Team Vitality, are here to win. NA, we got 6 teams at the major. I love to see it, and they have about a 70-30 chance on this one. And their chances are going to be pretty decent, I would say. Looking at the bracket, you got them playing wildcard number 6 in the first round, which I would say probably, who would that be? Maybe a Moist, possibly, a Space Station, something like that. Maybe even an Oxygen, which I think they can easily, they can definitely beat any of those teams. I don't think that's even a question. And then they end up playing possibly a FaZe Clan, which actually, I think that's why they have a chance. But then you go into, you have double elimination in Group B, obviously, which I think I think that's basically guaranteeing them out. If it wasn't double elim into the groups, then they might be in trouble. I'm not going to lie. I could see them slipping up with that consistency. But double limit helps them out. Then playoff bracket, that's where it's going to get real. Because, they got one series. You lose one, you're out. But overall, the Vitality prediction for me, I'd say it's at least a top 3. At least top 3. Actually, I guess it would be top 4 since it's that's the bracket this time. But yeah, top 4 at least. But I predict them to win. It's definitely a prediction to win. Bob, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, for me, I feel like I think one thing that we still haven't seen, which is kind of crazy to say, but I still don't think Zen has like peaked yet. I don't think
Huh?
Zen has like gone anywhere near his top potential yet. So I feel like for Vitality, like they if they just play normally, they could just win it. But I feel like the best way and like the easiest way for them to win it is Zen actually like shows up like crazy and just clips like has like 10 clips every single game, every single match, just like goes crazy, goes insane, shows all the mechanics, gets a quick like psycho maybe in the finals, something like that. I feel like if Zen shows up like that, like they guaranteed to win this land.
I mean, if he becomes the second coming of like God, I guess so. But I feel like we've seen his peak. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that final major day was his peak. I think that was Zen. He was the best player on that team finally, because I didn't think he was before. And he finally showed up on that day. And I think that's what. Honestly, I think that is Zen's peak. He's just got to be the best player on that team, because he is the best player.
I feel like he was
But
good, yeah, but I feel like he could
good.
even be a lot better. Like I feel like I would put him best in the world right now for sure. I feel like he's even still levels above that. Like I feel like
That's crazy.
mechanically the clips that he could hit, I feel like we haven't seen it yet, what he could actually do. Like I think he's gonna be insane this land potentially. Like he'll be even levels beyond like I already have him number one in the world by a decent amount. I feel like he's just gonna like blow it out of the water this land and just like destroy
Probably.
anyone's hopes of like Alpha being the best, Vatira, Monkey Moon, anyone like that. Nah, no one's gonna be talking about them. It's gonna be all Zen after this land, I feel like.
So you got Zen cooking the whole land. Is that what you're telling me? That they're not taking a single L
Yeah.
at this land, is what you're telling me?
No L's, no L's at
That's
all.
crazy. That's crazy. Realistically, they're probably gonna lose one. I feel like they gotta slip up in one series, but they still probably win it. In fact, actually, this bracket is probably more favorable to them, in my opinion, than the last major. Actually, because once they were set down to lower bracket, they had their heads against the wall, or whatever that saying is. What is the saying? What's that saying?
The backs against the
their
wall.
backs against the wall. That's the one.
He's got his head against.
Head against the wall. No, that's crazy. But yeah, no, I think they definitely. I mean, let's all be real. I think they definitely could lose to FaZe if they're not playing their best. I definitely think they could, right? I don't think that's even really a hot take. I think it definitely could happen. And then you go through. But even if they do lose, like I said, I don't think it matters because then they just headed down to lower bracket. They probably roll lower bracket. So, because they also have who do they have? Gen.G and Rule 1, and yeah, we know they can beat those teams. So, yeah, there should be no issue if those teams will get knocked out.
Real
Or-
one might have studied. They might have studied what they did wrong last time.
That is true.
They
They're
might have,
also, bro. This
gotta figure them
is.
out.
Can we just talk about this for a second, by the way? This Group B is way more stacked than Group A. If you look at
What do
this,
we got? I haven't seen it.
I didn't even look at this before. Because you got Wild Card 1, which is probably like complexity. You'll have a Wild Card 4, which could be like a G2. You'll have, and then on the other, yeah, no, it is way more stacked, I feel like Group B is. Let me know what you guys think about
Dude,
that.
you're
I wouldn't
disrespecting
necessarily.
K-Corp.
K-Corp,
Yeah,
they're
you
like the
got
only good
KC
team
and
in that
BDS.
side. No,
Okay, you're
I don't like
disrespecting
BDS.
Team
KC,
Liquid.
BDS.
I don't rate Liquid either after
No.
that last disaster class. No, Liquid
Okay,
aren't
they're
getting
gonna
rated
bounce
until they
back, though.
regain. I hope
But
they do,
BDS.
but I don't know.
BDS.
Nah, I don't rate BDS. I think
You don't rate
that was a
BDS?
fluke run. Yeah, my prediction, honestly, I probably don't even have them top 10. Nah, I'm kidding. Probably top 6 though. Top 6. I think that's about their end point here.
I mean, I feel like they're the third. I would say like either second or third best team in the world right now. I mean, like
That's recency bias.
them-
That's gotta be. There's no way that's not
mean,
recency bias.
They beat Vitality at this major.
And then they lost. They got
they're-
destroyed twice.
They did, but like that's just like one matchup right there that they
Two.
lost. The best team in the world that was peaking. Like
I don't know.
I
That was.
think
I don't
BDS
even think that was peaking. Also, there's our peaking thing we were talking about the earlier conversation.
True. But like, nah, I feel like BDS and KC are the two teams that like could beat Vitality. Like, I feel like they have the best chance to
Really?
beat Vitality out of anyone else.
Man, you guys don't rate
Yeah.
phase or complexity or G2 like I do then, because that's crazy.
Dude,
I
I
mean,
don't
I just
know.
don't think you can compare G2 to like a BDS or KC right now.
I
Like, I
think
just
you
think
can
they're
because G2 are
different.
they're such LAN boys. I don't like the LAN term anymore, but G2 are like the epitome of a LAN team. Like going into Worlds last year, I feel like everybody was thinking the same thing about G2. They're like, well, they're declining, it's not looking good, and then they made the finals. So I don't know.
G2 hasn't looked. They haven't had a good land performance this season though. I mean, they lost to
I mean,
Power
that is
in the
true,
first major,
but-
didn't they?
Yeah, I mean everybody has a slip up though. I rate G2. I hope we see some JNAP supremacy on LAN. He's winning Worlds. Trust the process. Bates, somebody ship that to Bates. I'll get my money. We'll be good. No, that's crazy. But we got all that. Bob, you know we have other teams. You're talking about Liquid, you're talking about BDS, and I was talking about FaZe. Let's start out with Liquid though. So you guys both think Liquid bounce back, eh?
Yeah, I think Liquid's. I think they got the bounce back in them. I think that they weren't impressed with their spring major performance, and I think they're gonna.
They should.
I think they're gonna prove the haters wrong. Yeah, I think they're gonna have a good performance here.
I think they're gonna look good, but I don't think it's gonna be a good bracket run. If that makes sense, because I think
Like how far do you think they're gonna get?
Their bracket out of every single one in Group A is the easiest bracket to qualify for a top 8. And then they might take a game off top 8, but I don't see anything other than that. Because, I mean, who's in that? You got Wildcard 5, 3, Nip? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Loki, I agree with that, but Wildcard 3? Wildcard 3 could be a tough team. But yeah, I agree that might be the easiest run out of some of these other runs that you see from other teams here. I think that might be it.
At least in the top upper bracket, definitely is.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like, even if they lose their first match, they're gonna play against probably a Nip in lowers, and then the next match after that, it could be kind of tough. They could play like a KC, like a BDS, someone like that. But I think they're the kind of team that could just win it in uppers right there. And especially, I mean, think about a Tao, right? He got the Discord buff now. You know, everyone's gonna be repping his Discord over there. He's gonna have his QR codes everywhere at Worlds. I feel like Liquid gotta bounce back from that, right? They gotta bounce back.
So, okay, I'm curious actually. So what would you guys consider a bounce back for Liquid? What is a Liquid bounce back looking like?
For me, a Liquid bounce back is top 4. I think a bounce back is top 4 for this team.
Okay. I'd agree.
If they get further than that, I'll be really impressed. If they get less than that, then I think they wouldn't be happy with their performance.
I think they probably split up if they don't get that. Would be my guess. I think they got to get a top 4 or it's cooked.
Yeah, I think a top 8's not even a bad result either. Especially with how competitive. I think it's not a bad result, top 8. But I think they probably split up almost no matter what. Unless they make top 2, I think they probably split up. If they've already wanted to split up a little bit before. A Chronic was gonna maybe get replaced before this split.
Right.
And then he didn't last minute because of Rise and stuff, weird stuff. But yeah, if they don't make a top 2, I think they probably split up anyway.
That's fair. That's valid enough. Hopefully we see Liquid. This could be their last dance, I guess, for them. So, I'd like to see them perform. They're my personal favorite EU team. But I don't know. After what I saw at that last major, it was looking shaky. So, hopefully they're practicing it up, getting ready, and that'd be good. That'd be good. Speaking of other teams, BDS. I told you guys I didn't rate them much. What do you guys rate them as? What do you think a BDS expectation would be?
Yeah, Bop, you can go first for this one.
Yeah, I think minimum they want top 8. That's the bare minimum for them.
Yeah.
And I think the only way that Rise doesn't leave the team is that if they don't win, I feel Rise is probably off the team. I think he probably just leaves, go to somewhere else.
Really?
But yeah, for me realistically, I think I predict them to top 4. I think top 4 is a good result from them. I feel they could beat most teams, especially if they make it through uppers. They beat KC, for example. They make it through uppers. They might have to play who knows, a Falcons, maybe a G2, someone like that. I feel they could win those kind of series. And then in a top 4, if they have to play, I don't know, a FaZe, maybe a Rule 1, maybe Vitality, I don't know. That would be tougher then. But I expect them to make it top 4. I think they're still a good team. I think they're a top 4 team in the world. I think they'll do good.
Wait, really quick before money goes. Bob, so you said top 4. That means you have a Liquid, BDS, and Vitality 3. Who's your 4th team then? Because you said the other. You already said the other 3 were top 4. So who's your other?
I don't have Liquid top 4. I have my top 4 is Vitality, FaZe, BDS, Rule 1.
Vitality, FaZe, BDS. Okay, I'd like that, by the way. Can I just say that? I like that. Give me that. I'll take that. That's good though. That's good. Money, what do you think? What do you think about BDS?
Dude, for me, I agree that they're a top team. I'd probably rank them either top 4, top 3. Maybe I'd rank them top 2. But in this tournament, dude, I don't think they're gonna do that well. I don't know how far they're gonna get. I think they might make it out of groups, but dude, I don't know. The way that Monkey Moon just wears his emotions on his sleeve, you can see the tilt in his eyes. Like you can see when things are going wrong.
That is true.
You can
That
physically
is
see the
true.
tilt. So I don't know. I just feel like something's gonna go wrong for this team, and I don't see them going too far. I'd probably give them a top 8.
I would agree. I don't know why. I thought you guys were gonna have them way higher because I originally said I didn't rate them that high, and you were wilding about that. But now you're saying,
Well, yeah, I'd still
top
rate
8.
them a top 4 team in this tournament. I'd rate them even top
Really?
3, maybe.
I don't know
Yeah,
how you do
I'd
that.
rate them
That's
top
crazy.
3.
That's got to be recency bias. There's no way.
Well, they
But
popped off recently. They literally popped off
yeah,
recently.
I
What do
don't know,
you
man. I don't know.
mean?
They popped off, and
They-
then they showed also what else they can do, which was get destroyed by Vitality. So
Anyone can
it
get
was
destroyed
what
by
it was.
Vitality.
I guess so. Either way, BDS, they have an opportunity to be the best team in the world, but they aren't. They are the best team in the world, and they won't be here. I honestly, they're probably about. They could be top 4. They could reach top 4. I'd probably go with a safe top 8 though, realistically speaking. But with a lot of these teams, we don't talk about it that often. But really, I would say there's probably 10 teams realistically. If these teams are playing at the peak, I'd say realistically there's 10 teams that could actually win this event if other teams are not playing to their potential. If Vitality are not playing to their potential, I mean Rule 1 could beat them, and if Rule 1 are playing that good. Gen G, if they're playing as good as we've seen them play before and they figure it all out, they could win. FaZe could win. Liquid could win. BDS, Complexity, and even a Falcons. I could see Falcons just figure it out and they could win. It's a longer shot, but there are a lot of teams at this event that I think it's going to just depend realistically on who plays the most consistent. And that's really what Worlds is, I feel like. It's a consistency battle because it's so long. It's just a gauntlet of games. But yeah, BDS, I don't know. That's why I bring that up, though. I don't know if BDS is as consistent as some of these other teams. We saw them play well, and we've also seen them play not great. So we'll see if they're playing good at the right time. It might be time, though. It might be time for them. Speaking of other teams that we're rating, apparently. FaZe Clan. What do we rate FaZe? They did make the last major. How high are you guys on FaZe?
Ooh, this one's tough for me because
You want me to go first? I'll give you my FaZe rating.
yeah, go for it. Go for it. What do you think they're gonna do?
Top 3. Top 3, top 4, obviously. I always say top 3, but I mean, it's always top 4 guaranteed. But yeah, I think FaZe, they should, at least. They should. They are the 3rd best team at this event, at least, I think. It's probably, actually, in my opinion, I'd say it's probably Vitality and FaZe, and then Carmine would be your 3 strongest teams overall at this event. Even though they didn't make the last major, I think, it was just a rocky split for FaZe. But I think they bounced back. They should be grinding. And they should at least be a top 4 team. If they're not a top 4 team, all I'm going to say is I'll be disappointed. I think they're NA's best shot, along with Complexity, probably. And, yeah, I don't know. Money, what do you think? I don't think they underperform, by the way. I think they do get a top 4.
So you're saying 4th clan strikes
I do.
again?
I do, yeah. It's
Oh
happening.
gosh,
Oh,
not
no.
again, bro. Honestly, yeah, this is another team. I don't know where to place them, especially because we didn't see them in the spring. So, at the spring major,
I hope they're.
I agree they are very strong, but who knows how they look coming into Worlds? They should look good,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think I'm gonna go and say FaZe Clan. You know what? Give me the 4th clan again. Give me FaZe 4. Give me FaZe 4,
They're
bro.
back, baby. That's my NA team. Man.
Bob,
Man,
what do you got for us?
I think this LAN, right? I think FK, people have been sleeping on him a little bit recently. He didn't make the last major, but people saying that FK, is he washed? Is he not as good as he used to be? I think that's nonsense right there. I think FK, still best player in NA in my opinion. I think this LAN will be the 2nd best player at this LAN, only under Zen because Zen is different. But I think FK is gonna show up. I think Mist and Sypical will play their roles perfectly, support FK. I think FaZe get a top 2. I have FaZe in the finals playing against Vitality. I think Vitality should win it, But I think FaZe, you never know. Like FaZe could take this. It would be a crazy story, like not making the spring major and then winning Worlds. But I don't think it's impossible at all.
So we're all saying that they don't underperform. I'd say it's not an underperformance. Top 4, I'd say is, I wouldn't say it's underperforming.
I'd say top 4 is underperforming for this
Really?
team.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they want to win. I think it's win or nothing.
I mean,
Like I heard
isn't
Rold
that
is
the
talking
case with everyone,
on
though?
first touch. Well, okay, that's true if you put it like that. But I think like this team, like specifically, they want to win. Like if they get second place, they're not gonna be happy with the second place. Like if Power gets a second place, they'll be like, "Yo, let's go."
True.
But I think if FaZe gets a second place, they want to win.
I think for every player you want to win, but I think overall, 4 should be good. It should be good. I wouldn't say that's not bad by any means. That's for sure. I think a top 4 that's good enough. Especially if you take some games off really good teams. Say they beat a Rule 1, they beat a Vitality, they beat even Gen G, I guess, if Gen G are playing well. They beat a Complexity they could play. Like there's a lot of teams they could play that are good that even if they get top 4 and then lose, I wouldn't say that's underperforming. Bob, do you think it's an underperformance if they get top 4?
I don't think top 4 is like underperforming, but I do agree with Money that like this is a team that wants to win. If they don't win, they'll be disappointed. And honestly, if they don't win, I think they disband as a team as well. So like I think that's the only way that they stick together
I agree with
is that if they do win. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll agree with that.
Are FaZe gonna be the only team from NA in the top 4? I am not sure. Let's go back to the wild card for a second.
Okay.
You guys think that all 3 NA teams are gonna make it out? We got Complexity, SSG, and G2. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I would say yeah. I think so.
I think it'll be easily as well. One of them might be in round 5, but I think Complexity are a lock to make it out. If they don't, they will have just like been the worst they've ever played in their life. And then G2, I'm very high on G2. I think they probably make it out about a 3-1. And then SSG, that's the one question mark. That is SSG, I don't know about them. They're good, they're consistent, but they're not like top consistent. So I could see them dropping it, but I don't see them dropping it.
Okay.
There's a slight chance of it, but I don't see it happening. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, I got all of them 3 over 3-1. I think they'll all be fine in the wild card. Like they're chilling. There's nothing scary there in my opinion for them.
You don't think like a nice like Oxygen playing well or a Falcons could challenge these teams or Moist? I feel like all those teams could definitely challenge any of these teams.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Twisted
But I think
Minds.
like in terms of like I think there's enough bad teams in here that they'll be fine.
That's fair.
They're chilling.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I was thinking mostly all 3, but there's definitely a chance that one of them doesn't make it just because of some seeding matches.
Yeah.
Like we could get an NA versus NA in
Right.
the round 2. So one of them's already lost a game, and then who knows? Maybe they run into Falcons in the round 3. That could be a tough matchup. And then who knows? They could run into the other NA team in round 5. We could get some NA against NA action in round 5.
I don't want that. Don't give me that. NA's gonna be in shambles again. You know, Arsenal. He tweeted something. I think it was. He was like, "We're gonna see the biggest NA bounce back of all time." I can't remember the quote exactly, but it was something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe in that, but hopefully they all do make it out. The one thing I am scared about though is I do think I could see G2 and Space Station, at least not G2 because of who they're playing. At least they're playing a really bad team. If we're being honest, realistically, this might be actually one of the worst teams here. That's just a guaranteed win. But yeah, like Space Station, if Space Station start out bad, they definitely could lose that series. Secret, they're not a team to sleep on. I don't rate them super highly, but they definitely can win that if they're playing well. And Space Station are a little bit sleepy, which sometimes it seems some of these teams can start out a little bit slow. So that's one to watch, I think. That'll be the series that I actually watch in first round the most, I think, will be the Space Station versus Secret. That's my most intriguing matchup.
That should be a banger as well. Yeah. What happened in the Crew versus G1 matchup in the winter?
Crew versus G1.
Crew
G1 choked. Right? Yeah, G1 choked the hell out of it.
G1.
It was like, what were they up? 2-0? And then Crew. And then, oh, God. It was a disaster. A G1 disaster class. Crazy. And I think G1 are worse now, obviously, than that. So Crew should take that again as long as there's no trollage.
Yeah, I agree.
Money. Did you have anything else about that one?
Oh no, I'd say that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page there.
Yeah.
All three teams most likely making it out.
They should be. If they don't, I'm gonna be down bad. Let's just say that. It's not gonna be good for NA yet again. Speaking of NA, we're actually gonna jump really quick. This was a little bit out of order. It's okay though. Do we get an EU versus NA final? Do we think? I know Bop already. I think actually said it. I think he said he had FaZe Vitality in the final. So I guess that's me and Money. Money, what do you think? Not looking at any predictions. Did you make your predictions? I know Bop did. I haven't made mine. So.
Nah, I haven't made mine yet.
Okay.
So it depends on the bracket, obviously,
Yeah.
but based on team strength, bro, I think it's EU versus EU. I think it's EU again. K-Corp, Vitality, BDS, maybe even Liquid, maybe Moist coming out of the wild card, bro. Dude, I think it's EU on top once again, bro. I don't see it.
Okay. Money, I'm gonna talk to you. Okay. I'm gonna tell you.
All right.
Gonna tell you what's gonna happen, okay? I have the script here. It's in my hand.
All right.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna tell you about young kid Zen. Young kid Zen. He's a great player. He's #1 in the world right now. Maybe tied with Alpha, depending how you look at it. But Vitality are in the final. It's a lock, okay? It's a lock for Vitality. And then it's gonna be NA. They're gonna be playing NA. They're overcoming their demons that haunted them last time. You might know a young man named AJG. He missed an open net. And AJG, that's not happening again. AJG, they're running through it. Razebull's confident. CRR's confident. You know, I follow Razebull on the gram. He's in Paris. He's having a good time right now. But he's gonna be ready after all that. He had a nice vacation. He comes back. He comes back to this world. He's there. And he says, let me give NA this victory. So he comes to the finals. He makes it through the bracket. He says, I don't care who's in the way. And he meets Vitality in the finals. Razebull, AJG, CRR. They're looking across the field at him yet again. They see Alpha 54. They see Zen. And they see Radosin, who may or may not be missing at times. But after they see him, Vitality win. But yeah, it's NA. It's an NA finals, but Vitality do win it. So there you go.
So you got Complexity going all the way, bro. Complexity looked really good in spring.
It's time for
brother. Dude, they're not doing it again, man. It's over.
It's happening.
It's over.
Finals, yeah, I don't know about top 2.
It's gonna happen. Also, somebody in chat said Ross on top. Sorry, that's not happening.
Sorry. No one have a better chance of making the final than Complexity.
True.
Wait, you think Rule 1 have a better chance of making it than Complexity?
Then Complexity, definitely. Like, no doubt about that, in my opinion. Just...
Wait. What did you say? Did you say Rule 1 are better than Complexity or the other way around?
Yeah. Both scenarios, yeah. I think Rule 1 are a better team than Complexity, and I think they have a better chance of making the finals than Complexity.
I don't know how that is. Bro saw him on one lane, and then they beat Complexity once, and now he's like, yeah, no problem. Okay.
And then they'll do it again, and then they'll
enough.
beat them
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
If Rule 1 can figure out if they can figure out some offense, maybe, but I don't see that offense coming to fruition anymore.
I mean, are they missing open nets like the way AJG is? I don't know, you know?
I don't know. They're not gonna do it again. I'll call out the bull. I'll tell them to get the boys in shape. It's all good. There you go, though. There you go. EU, NA. We all gave our take. MoneyGo says no. Bob says yes. I say yes. And that leads us to...
Does that count as a EU-NA final? Complexity? Does that count?
Yes, they count. If they're giving points for NA, they live in NA, they're NA.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
I don't like that argument. I don't even know why people say it. If they're in NA, they're NA. It's that simple.
Okay.
Alrighty. We actually flipped this about a little bit. We should order this better. LS, we'll learn. Does Sam make it out a wild card? Look at that. We're flipping back up to the draft or whatever. Wild card. What do we think? Both Sam teams making it out a wild card.
Ooh, this is a tough one actually. I'll say one of two. I haven't seen Secret play in a long time, but I think Crew has the potential. The offense looks really cool. It's really exciting to watch some of the passing plays and stuff. Yeah, I'll say one of two. Most likely Crew make it. That's what I got.
You agree, Bob?
I agree. Yeah, same take for me. I think like they both could make it, but I think it's just very unlikely with how many like good teams there are in here. I feel like Crew would have the better chance at making it. I think both of them make it to that round 5, and both will have to play against like some other teams, maybe like a Twisted Minds, maybe like a Pioneers, maybe like a Power, something like that. I think there'll be some close matches there. If I had to pick one though, I would say Crew make it. Yeah.
It's gotta be Crew, right? I feel like Crew are just seems like they're their older brothers as of late. They're bullying them every time they play. But Secret, I'll be like I said, I'll be watching that Secret SSG series. I think that'll tell us all we need to know about Secret, honestly. If Secret play well against SSG, make it close or possibly win, I think Secret actually probably do make it out. But if they don't, I think Secret's probably in the gutters. I think they're probably like 1-3. I don't know. Something about Secret I'm not high on anymore. I think they had a fluky run, and now they're just kind of being set to the side. I think they're even lucky to be here, if we're being a little bit honest. But they're here. They're here, and we'll see if they can pull it off. Did anybody else have anything else to say about Sam? I think it is Crew, though. His Crew's to take. They should make it out.
Bucks.
Mm.
Yeah, I've got nothing else.
Okay. And then, man, we're in the wild card again. Our favorite region. Somebody, I haven't said it yet. Spin the globe. We're going to SSA or APAC. Do any of these teams, SSA or APAC, do we think any of them surprise? Do we think we'll see any surprises? First of all, maybe we should define what a surprise to us would actually be. Because I
would
think
a surprise be like? Yeah, would a surprise be like them winning against a non-SSA or APAC team?
I
feel like
say
I don't
that's a
know.
surprise.
yes, unless it's like Elevate beating like Pioneers. I wouldn't say that's much of a surprise
I
to
would
me.
say that's still a surprise.
Really?
Like I would say like
Yeah.
I would predict it, but I think that's still like that's the first time they've ever beaten a non APAC or SSA team in RLCS. I
That
feel like
is
that would
true.
be like a good result for them.
I guess. Money, what do you think? What do you think about that then? So Bob
Yeah,
says so Bob, you say that it is it would be them just beating anyone other than SSA or APAC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, for me, for Elevate to surprise me, if they made round 5, if they were fighting for a chance to hop out of the wild card, that would be a surprise for me. Besides that, I'd say, yeah, honestly, like the other teams just even beating a team that's not from either of the other two regions, like SSA or APAC beating a non-SSA APAC team. I agree with that.
Yeah, I would
That'd
agree.
be surprising.
By the way, quick yes or no really quick. Is Elevate the best team that is one of those regions?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page on that one. I just had to make sure. So that's why we're using him as an example. I figured.
But yeah, Gaming Gladiators versus Limitless should be good though. I don't know what to expect from that between those two teams.
Yeah, it's a funky one, honestly. It is. Limitless could be all right, maybe. Gladiators could be all right, maybe too. Like I don't know. I don't know what to expect. They play Moist and G2 though, first round. That's just a tricky draw for both of those. And then I think Valiant, like they're pretty easily the worst team here, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've never seen them play.
Overall, to surprise, I won't waffle any longer. To surprise, I still think, in my opinion, I still wouldn't be surprised if Elevate beat a Pioneers. But any other team other than Pioneers that's outside of that, I would agree it's a surprise. They beat a. If we see like an Elevate beat Falcons, oh god, the world's exploding. That's gonna be doomsday. Ring the alarms. Because there's gonna be some crazy things happening, but I hope we see that. I would love to see that for them boys, and I thought they looked really good actually last LAN. Even though they didn't win a series, I thought they looked solid. Even in their Liquid series, even though they weren't playing very well, I thought the potential was still in that series. They showed flashes of it, so yeah, hopefully we see it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Realistically, probably doesn't happen unless, like I said, Pioneers possibly. But I don't see them. Like I don't think they can beat a Power either. Power's easily the best team in OCE too. Speaking of OCE, do we think either of the OCE teams make it out? Here's a little pop quiz actually, because we didn't have this on our sheet.
I'm gonna say maybe Power. Definitely not Pioneers. I don't see Pioneers making it out, but maybe Power.
It's a long shot, but
yeah, I think they'll need a good bracket. Like, I don't think Power's gonna beat like maybe one NA team. Actually, no, probably not any NA team. Maybe a G1, maybe a G1 or maybe an Oxygen. But overall, I think there's 7 or 8 teams stronger than them. But depending on the bracket, I think Power has a chance. What do you guys think?
Pop, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like for me, like in my predictions I did yesterday, I did have them making it out 3-2. I had them beating Valiant, Limitless, so those are like they should win those for sure. And then I had them
Okay.
play against Crew in round five. And in the predictions
Ooh.
yesterday, I did predict Power to win that one over Crew. So we'll see. I think like those teams are very close, like the Crew, Secret,
Yeah,
Power. I think like Twisted Minds is in there, Oxygen is in there as well. I think like two, three of those teams will make it out, and then two, three of those teams won't make it. But I think Power has a chance. They look pretty good this past major. They almost beat Rule One. They obviously made Worlds there,
yeah.
beating Ground Zero. I think they got a chance to make it. Yeah.
I would agree. And looking at this just quickly on wildcard, I would say that they realistically have a chance to beat 9 of these teams here. I'd say they definitely could be Valiant, Limitless, Gladiators, G1, Secret, Oxygen, possibly depending on how they look, Elevate, and then Crew and Pioneers. So yeah, if they definitely get a favorable bracket, they could, but I don't know if I'd predict it. Yeah, it'll be close though. I do think I probably would have them in round five. Definitely, I'd be shocked if they weren't in round five actually.
That'd be crazy. Imagine they go 3-0, just beat every.
That'd be hey man, that'd be
Imagine.
nuts. That'd be insane. I'd love to see it, bro. I just honestly, the one thing I want to see at this Worlds is I want to see some like different region domination. EU, NA set aside, I want to see these other teams actually like perform,
Mm,
to like above expectations, not just like squeaking out, round five for Power. Like I'd like to see them like a top eight. Like a top eight for Power would be that'd be
mm.
That'd
impressive
be
for me.
huge for them.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
want to
don't.
see a lot of competition. I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, Crew could be another one of those teams that, we realistically we don't rate them crazy high, but they could get like a top eight, if things go their way. I don't know if any other of these teams I could say Falcons. I guess Falcons would be another one in Twisted Minds. But speaking of Falcons and Twisted Minds, what do we expect from Twisted Minds? Me and Bop, we yapped about it last week. Now, Money, I know you said you were gonna do some research. What'd you find?
Yup, I was gonna do some research, and I did not end up getting around to it, so I still have no idea what this team looks like. I saw a few highlights, not too many. I saw some highlights. They looked really good in the highlights. That's about it.
Oh
So
no.
honestly, I still have no idea. I
Oh
still have no
goodness.
clue.
Oh goodness. Bop, you and I, if I'm not mistaken, we did say top eight for them wasn't crazy surprising. Do you still agree with that?
I think like yeah, that's their peak in my opinion. Like I think their best performance would be a top eight.
Yeah.
Realistically, like I got them like either like top 12, top 16. I think they'll be somewhere in that. Like they'll be main
Okay.
event, maybe get a win in main event. Like I think it'll be tough to make top eight, but there's a world where it happens for sure.
Yeah, I think because of the bracket, I think they definitely can get a top eight, but because of the bracket, I think it's gonna be a tricky one to actually achieve that. Looking
Hmm.
at it here, they're gonna play like right off the bat. As long as they do make it out of wild card, they more than likely play like a Carmine or a Gen G, which I wouldn't favor
Hmm.
them in either of those matches probably. Maybe against
Yeah.
Gen G they could squeak it out, depending on how Gen G are looking, but I probably wouldn't predict them to do it. But yeah,
Hmm.
bracket makes it hard, bro. It really is like we yap about all this, but bracket is what like it's really like
Facts.
it's whatever happens in the bracket. Like we can't predict what happens in the bracket fully
Hmm.
ever because there's always upsets. So it is what it
Exactly.
is. Like I mean, Twisted Minds like at their peak they could go out 3-1 in this. I could see a 3-1 out of wild card. Like I don't think that'd be unheard of. Um,
Hmm.
but I probably wouldn't predict them to do it. I'd probably get them in round five. They definitely should be
Hmm.
beating in round five. They should make it out in round five. If they don't, that'd be an underperformance, I think, for that team. Not making it out a wild card. They
Hmm.
got to make it out. Do you agree with that, Bob?
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Like they should make it out. There's a chance that they like end up losing series to like, like Power, Oxygen, teams like that. But I think realistically they should be making top eight. Both
Yeah.
Twisted Minds and Falcons, I think they'll both be making like that top 16 main event.
I think Falcons have a lot of potential actually. If they get rolling in this bracket, what we saw in I guess 2 majors ago, I thought they actually looked really good. Even though they did lose kind of somewhat
Mm,
early, I can't remember exactly where they placed. I thought they looked good even though they lost. Probably actually one of the
mm,
better teams when they lost. So
mm.
I could see a lot from Falcons. Actually, what do you guys have? What do you think Falcons doing here? What would be a an underperformance for Falcons? They got Nick as their coach now too. I rate that.
True. For Falcons, I think underperforming would be under top eight. I think they want at least a top eight here. After that, I don't know how far they'll go. I don't see them going super far just based on their recent performances. But yeah, I think they want to get at least the top 8.
Mm,
Considering last Worlds, what did they get? I think they got top 12. They didn't make it out of groups. So
Mm,
yeah,
that sounds right. Yeah.
yeah, so
yeah. I
I
think
think
they're
they'll be
past.
happy. I think they'll be at least
Yeah.
happy with the top 8. What do you guys
Yeah, I think
think?
their past 3 lands they've made top 12. Like they
Yeah.
made top
Mm.
2 at the spring major, and then Worlds was top 12. Fall major was top 12, I think, and then
Mm-hmm.
spring winter major was top 12. Didn't make the spring major. Now they're here at Worlds. I think they want to like get back, showing that like yo, like we're still a good team. We're still like Mina's number 1, number 2 team. They want to show the world that like yeah, they're still good. So I think top 8 is what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
I think it's possible they don't make it top 8, but that's what I would hope that they get. That's what I think they're also hoping that they get.
Yes, yes, I would definitely agree. Top 8, but this is, I mean, it gets stacked when you get into top 8. You really get looking.
Facts.
I'd say they might be about the maybe 10th best team here, depending on how you rate them. But I don't even know. I don't know if anyone would put them above any of these other teams I'm looking at. Because I look at complexity. I feel like complexity are definitely better than them. I look at Carmine, BDS, Liquid, Gen G, Rule 1, Vitality, Phase, and then maybe like a G2 or a Moist. Maybe better than them. Or even an SSG. But I'd probably rate Falcons above Space Station, G2, and Moist. So I don't know. I'd say like yeah, probably top 8. They should be aiming for that. That's gotta be what they want at least, right? But I think I could see a run. If they get confident and they're like more consistent, it seems like they have been pretty bad at getting consistent. Because when they lost, if I'm not mistaken, in winter, they actually almost reverse swept Gen G, if I'm not mistaken about that. I think that's right.
Mm,
And
I
I
think
thought they
so.
looked really, really good in those later games, but they just started out flat, and that was really their issue. So if they get rolling, they can do it, but I don't know if I believe in the roll. So we'll find out. So speaking of Falcons, speaking of G2, speaking of all these teams, who is your guys' dark horse team in this event? Who do you think has the most potential, I guess, that could actually maybe even win, or at least maybe top 10? Top 10, top 2.
Bop, you want to go first? You got someone?
Yeah, I think my biggest dark horse, we kind of talked about them a little bit before, would be G2.
Mm-hmm.
I think G2 is a big question mark where like they could just like not perform at all. Like they could have like a bad wild card, maybe not even make top 16, you never know. But I think G2 is that team that like you were saying, Jagentek, they usually are good on land, especially last season. They had good land performances. And this season here, it wasn't as much, they kind of underperformed both lands. But I think here at Worlds, they want to win. I think like the perfect storyline for Worlds is G2 wins
It is.
Worlds and
It
then
is.
JNuts retires after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they beat like Vitality in the finals,
Oh
considering they
my god.
lost the Vitality season 7 finals right there. So that would be kind of crazy. But like, yes, I think they're my biggest dark horse. They could make a run. For me, I have them top 8, and that's about it. But like, they could make a crazy run.
Okay. Money, what do you
That'd
think?
be hype. The script writes
Yeah,
itself.
please. I want that.
For
Mm,
me, yeah, I think about a couple dark horses. See, the first one, it's got to be the dark horse team themselves. Literally,
Oh,
Team
I
Liquid.
was gonna
Their
say
their
that. I was
icon,
gonna say
it's
that.
a horse, bro. It's literally a horse. And I don't know. This team's really momentum based. When they're popping off, when their mechs are on, when they're feeling warm, dude. This team, they hit some crazy peaks. They do some phenomenal things, and ah, dude, if they won Worlds, I would not be surprised. But
Yeah.
if they won this entire tournament, I could see it happening. And then my second team, which is a lot less likely, I've got SSG as my other
Okay.
dark horse,
Okay.
dude. The team that they work so well together, like they have to all be playing well to have a chance of winning. But at that point, like when their chemistry's on, they look like a very solid team. They only lose series to like other teams that are just outplaying them together. Like they don't really lose to like teams that just have like one mechie guy type of thing. So I think as long as SSG like they're working together and all of them are hitting their stride, they've got a chance against almost any of these teams.
Do you think SSG genuinely have like a shot to win though? I feel like that's pretty far out with
Yeah,
this
I'd say
year.
it's far out, but yeah,
It could happen.
I
I mean,
think they
yeah,
could do it. Yeah, I think they could do it. They've had some consistent runs,
that's
and like
fair.
depending on their day, dude, yeah, I believe in them.
Okay. I agree. I agree with what you guys said. I'd say Liquid. I like the Liquid shot. I was gonna say Liquid. And then G2 definitely. Another one that not particularly I could see win the event or maybe top to it, but an absolute dark horse for a top four that I think people could be sleeping on. I dissed them earlier, but they have the real potential to do it. It's Oxygen. Oxygen, if that team if they figure something out,
Okay.
that team can be really, really good. But the real question is, can they do it? There's like a 95 to 5% chance that they actually could do it. But if something sparks, I think there is a slight chance that Oxygen could make a crazy run. They have the potential, they have the players, they have the skill, but it's all about, can they put it together? And the answer is probably not. But there is that slight shot, and they have the talent compared to the other teams. Like Secret, I don't think Secret has the talent. But Oxygen, I think they definitely do have the talent to do so. Probably for a top four though. I don't see like a top two. I think that might be a little bit of a far out shot. But overall, yeah, Oxygen. What do you guys think about Oxygen? Any thoughts on Oxygen? You agree? Disagree?
Dude, I don't even know what happened to this Oxygen team. Like at the start of the season, they looked dominant with Oli. Their playstyle was working really well. Archie became more of like the
Team
like the
player,
what's the
pretty
word? I
much.
guess the team player. He was
Facilitator.
working well. Like dude, and then even with Rise at the start, they looked good. And then yeah, after that, it just went downhill. So
The Rise
uh,
was
yeah, after the wrist injury, it just went downhill. But honestly, yeah, I don't know what to expect from this team. I can't rate them that highly. I obviously, like as you said, like 95 to 5%. I'd agree with those numbers. 95% chance that they
yeah.
don't make top four.
Yeah.
5% chance they do.
They have there's
Yeah.
that little sliver that I think other teams don't have though. That it could
Yeah.
happen though. It could happen. Bob, what do you
Yeah,
think
they
about it?
have that peak potential. Yeah, they have that peak potential for sure. I mean, Jorius, Archie, we've seen what they could do in the past. We've seen Jorius make far runs. We've seen Archie make far runs. Um, it's possible. Like their peak is like making like a top four, top
Yeah.
two, I think. Like I think their peak genuinely, like mechanically
They got the
speaking,
talent.
like they could
They
go
got the
crazy.
talent.
Yeah, they have the talent right there. It's just they don't have the results. The team
It,
play recently not really been there, you know. Like I
yeah,
can't really see them making top eight,
it's crazy.
but like their peak is crazy high. Like they have a crazy skill ceiling. So who knows what they'll do.
Indeed. Now, Bob, you want to give us our last topic
Mm,
of the day? Shut us out. Close
okay,
us out.
okay.
Talk to me.
Yeah, before we end today, I want to do some quick fire predictions for this first Swiss round coming up. It's in 2 weeks now, exactly 2 weeks. We'll be seeing
Sure.
these first matches.
Hmm.
So let me see you, Jagentek first. Complexity, Valiant, Complexity. I think your favorite team, right? Who
Yes,
you got winning
sir.
that one?
Cole 4-0. Perfect sweep.
Okay.
Honestly,
Oh my.
Perfect sweep.
it could happen.
Yo.
I'm not gonna lie, it actually could happen. That's the scary part
Yo.
about that. I don't even think that's absurd to say.
It
Oh
could,
man.
it could,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cole.
money. G2 Limitless. Is this another perfect sweep or something
Yeah, I'm
else?
not going for the perfect sweep. I think To Die For gets at least one goal. I think he scores one in there. But yeah, I'm going with the 4-0 from G2 there. I think G2's got it.
Okay.
4-0. Yep.
Okay, very fair, very fair. Third match, Moist versus Gaming Gladiators. I'll say for me, I think this is another 4-0 for me personally.
Mm.
Gladiators already trying out a new third, not having LCT. They're gonna have LCT at Worlds, but like I don't know how good he'll be playing since he won't be on that team long term. I'll say 4-0 for Moist right there. Okay. Now we get some spicy matches. Gigantic Pioneers
Yeah.
versus
Yep.
Twisted
Yep.
Minds. This is where it gets
I
a little closer.
I was thinking about this one. I could see either of these teams either starting out fiery or slow, but I'll give it a. We'll go 4-2 for Twisted Minds. Let's go 4-2 Twisted
Mm,
Minds.
okay. Pretty fair. I like that. Okay, money. Again, another spicy match. We saw it at a major in the winter major. Crew versus G1. Who you got winning?
Yeah, this one's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Crew just because of what I've recently
Mm,
seen from them and their offense potential and the way that they work together. I'm gonna go Crew in. I'll say 7. I think this could be a great series, low
I
key.
think so.
I think this could be a banger.
okay. I like that. Okay. I'll take an easier matchup right here, Elevate versus Falcons. I think the Falcons should be taking that one. Like most of the time, 95% of the time, I think
Yeah,
Falcons win that series. I'll say 4-1. I'i'll give Elevate one game.
that's
They took a
fair.
game against Vitality. I think they could take a game against anyone on their day.
Hmm.
I'll say Falcons win that 4-1 right there.
Okay.
Okay, Jagentek, another spicy match right here. Space Station
It's
versus
this
Secret.
one. This one lives rent free in my head. Um, this one is so hard. I actually like. I genuinely like. It could go either way. It's a 50-50 here for me. 50-50. He said the name of the show. Oh no, no. I would say, man, it's gotta be
Ooh.
Space Station, right? Give me Space Station in 7 though.
Ooh, that's a
Okay.
banger series.
That'll be
There's
a
a few
banger. That'll be a
snoozers here,
banger.
so gotta spice one up.
Okay, money. Last one for today. Oxygen versus Power. Could Power get a win here for OCE?
Dude, this is a tough one because of just like the range that we could get from both of these
Yeah.
teams. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I honestly I think Oxygen winning might be the safer prediction, so
Gonna
I'm gonna go with
spice it.
Oxygen
Oh.
so I'm gonna spice it up now. I'm gonna go Oxygen in 6. I think Power get a couple wins off, but I don't think they can get the whole series. Maybe in a
Okay.
BO5, but not in a BO7.
Respect.
Mm.
Respect. Respect. Also, can I just point out, actually, I completely forgot about the LCT thing. Honestly, that team might be the worst team here. No, no, I completely forgot about that. I just need to point that out really quick. They could actually be worse than Valiant with that. That's a questionable thing. You can't kick a
Maybe.
player before you go to Worlds. That's crazy to me.
Mm.
But there it is. There it is, boys. You got any more words? We've wrapped it up. We got our quick fire. If you guys, by the way, if you guys watching, if you want to see our full predictions, we will be doing a overall prediction next week. So be sure to tune in for that. Before we go out, you guys have anything else?
Nope, I've got nothing else. It's been a great show, and yeah, Bob, you got any closing words?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun as always. Last time and this time, I think podcast going well. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, Worlds are gonna be fun. I'm excited for our predictions next week.
Indeed. Indeed, indeed. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow our Twitter account for updates on the on our podcast. The @ is the 50/50 cast. And yeah, we tweet everything that you want to know. And we'll have a Spotify out soon. We're still working on that. The YouTube is up. Link also in the Twitter description. Or Twitter bio, sorry. But yeah, thank you for being here, boys. Thank you, Money. Thank you, Bob. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye. Goodbye.